Welcome to EPG Pathashala. I am Professor Ravichandra Rao. At present, I am a visiting scientist in the Center of Knowledge Analytics and Ontological Engineering in PES University in Bangalore. I will be covering in this module basics of testing of hypothesis. I think there are about 30 to 32 slides. These slides covers about the hypothesis, different types of hypothesis, procedures involved in testing of hypothesis, and tests like z-test, t-test, chi-square test are covered. Most often the research process is incomplete without testing a hypothesis. As such, there are two hypotheses referred in statistical testing. They are known as null and alternative hypothesis. A research process involves identifying the general problems, conducting the literature research, decide the design methodology, collect the data either from the population or from a sample, then analyze the data, report the result. This involves writing, and often it is also called technical writing. Then at the end, of course, we have to redefine the hypothesis and redo the research activity if we are not happy with the results. In step 1, identifying the general problems, we generally formulate the hypothesis. In step 5, where we are analyzing the data, we try to test the hypothesis. These are the two important things one we should know. We cannot collect a data unless we have already decided the hypothesis to be tested. And once we formulate the hypothesis, you are through in half of your research. Of course, then you start collect the data, process it, test the hypothesis. Statistical analysis aims at inferring about a population based on the information or a data contained in a sample. There are methods for making inferences which are usually based on statistical tests of hypothesis. The word hypothesis in science generally refers to a definite interpretation of a given set of data with a certain assumptions and generally unverified. A simple definition of hypothesis as given by Luniberg is a tentative generalization, the validity of which remains to be tested. Let me define now some other important terms in testing of hypothesis. What is a hypothesis? First of all, it is a statement about a population. There are two types of hypothesis, research and statistical. A research hypothesis is the supposition or a conjecture. It motivates the research. It may be formulated after several observations. It further leads to formulate statistical hypotheses. Statistical hypotheses are stated in such a way that they are evaluated by appropriate statistical techniques. There are two such hypotheses. Null hypothesis. It is denoted as H naught. It is a hypothesis which is being tested. Alternative hypothesis, denoted as a H1, it is the one which we are willing to accept if we reject the null hypothesis. Why we test hypothesis? It's a quite interesting thing. Science does not accept anything as a valid knowledge until satisfactory test confirms its validity. Therefore, they need to be tested through research process for their acceptance or rejection. For example, we may say India's per capita income is something like say 25,000 per year. We cannot accept this statement unless we take a sample of Indians, find out their average income, and then try to generalize whether that average income is around 25,000, in which case you can always say average income of Indian is rupees 25,000 per annum. So, the hypothesis is normally tested by making use of a predefined assertion rule which is applied to sample data and direct the research process in deciding to accept or reject the hypothesis. What are the rules for hypothesis statements? What we are expected to conclude as a result of the experiment should be considered in the alternative hypothesis. The null hypothesis should contain an expression of equality. For example, we say mu is equal to mu naught or mu 1 minus mu 2 is equal to 0. Here mu is a average of the population, mu naught we assume certain value for it. Mu 1 may be an average of a population 1, mu 2 is an average of the population 2. When we say mu 1 minus mu 2 equal to 0, that means our null hypothesis is there is no difference between the two means of the two populations. So, the null hypothesis is the hypothesis that will be tested. The null and alternative hypothesis are complementary, in the sense if you reject a null hypothesis, obviously you are willing to accept something else. Whatever you accept, whatever you are willing to accept is generally called as a alternative hypothesis. Now, take for example, whenever we want to test in testing a hypothesis, particularly to test the mean, we define a statistic called as Z. Z is defined as x bar minus mu naught divided by sigma by square root of n. So, x bar is the sample mean, mu naught is the hypothesized parameter, that is the population mean, sigma by square root of n is called a standard error of the relevant statistic. Here the statistic is sample mean. Now, here see we take a sample mean, that is called x bar, then we assume population mean, that is mu naught. Now, we are going to test what is the difference between x bar and the mu naught, and whether that difference is quite significant or not. This is what basically we do in this testing of hypothesis. Whenever we test a hypothesis, we do commit an error. There are two possible different types of error. Now, when a null hypothesis is true and if it is rejected, we commit a type 1 error, which is generally type 1 error. Its probability is alpha. When a null hypothesis is a false and if it is accepted, we commit a type 2 error whose probability is a beta. So, in other words, if alpha is the probability of committing a type 1 error and if beta is the probability of committing type 2 error, you can see in this slide in the table which is given in the table, that is a possible action failed to reject or reject H naught or a conditions of a null hypothesis may be true or a false. This table explains what is alpha, what is beta, and what is 1 minus alpha, or what is 1 minus beta. In generally testing of hypothesis, we try to fix the alpha whether it is a 0.05 or a 0.01. Suppose alpha is a 0.05, that means probability of a committing type 1 error is a 0.05. That means there is a 5% of a chance that we might have committed the type 1 error. That means we might have we might have rejected the H naught when the H naught is true. Now I'll give another example. Suppose you consider whenever you go to a supermarket, you try to buy a wheat flour or a rice or a sugar or something. Let's assume that weight of that packet, maybe a sugar or a rice or something else, equivalent to 2 kg. Now it is written in that packet saying that it's a 2 kg. Now it's possible that the real weight of that packet is greater than 2 kg, or it may be less than 2 kg or equal to 2 kg. If it is equal to 2 kg, you are safe because you are paying for 2 kg of wheat or a flour. Suppose if it is a greater than 2 kg, you may be lucky, you get extra content there, sugar or a rice, for the amount for which you pay only 2 kg. But if it is a less than 2 kg, you are in a trouble. You lost something. So that's why some government authorities make sure that the shopkeeper sells the right quantity for you. There are certain certain people who will examine this at the government level. Now what they do generally, they suddenly go to a shop, they take a sample of the packets. Say if there are 100 packets of 2 kg each, they may take some 10 packets and they weigh it 2 kg or it is less than 2 kg, and then if it is a less than 2 kg, then they will test a hypothesis based on certain probabilities. They will reject that particular hypothesis that it is equal to 2 kg, and then the shopkeeper may be punished. This is basically discussed in this slide. Say in the case 1, the null hypothesis is mu is a greater than or equal to mu naught, and the alternate hypothesis is mu is a less than mu naught. In the case 2, mu is less than or equal to mu naught, alternate hypothesis is mu is a greater than mu naught. In case 3, null hypothesis is mu equal to mu naught, alternate hypothesis is mu is not equal to mu naught. Now you see here in this slide, I have shown a small graph. The graph, the left side there is a shaded mark is there, in the right side there is a shaded mark is there. There is something like minus 1.96 and a plus 1.96 I had written, and the shaded mark says 2.5% this side, 2.5% that side. Now let us see what exactly it means. Z-test is we apply here to test a hypothesis mu equal to mu naught, and alternate hypothesis is mu is not equal to mu naught, and we will use a Z statistic. Z has already been defined in the earlier slide. It is any statistical test for which the distribution of a test statistic under the null hypothesis is approximated by a normal distribution. With the application of a central limit theorem, it can be shown that many test statistics are approximately normally distributed for large samples. In this context, for each significance level, the Z-test has a single critical value, for example 1.96 for alpha by 2, that is equal to 0.25. This can be shown diagrammatically as below. Now suppose I compute a Z-test for a given Z statistic. So I will take a sample mean is something like 10 units. Now I want to test whether the population mean mu equal to mu naught, my mu naught may be 12. I know sigma by square root of n is, let us say, 2.5, that is called standard error. Now my z is 10 minus 12 divided by 2.5. So it will be minus 2 by 2.5, that is equal to minus 1 over by 1.25, if I am correct. Now we calculate this. Let me assume this value was a ZC. Now I will check whether the ZC is a greater than 1.96 or ZC is less than minus 1.96, in which case I reject a hypothesis that mu equal to 12, otherwise I shall accept the hypothesis. Now this has been, there are one-tailed test and a two-tailed test I have discussed in this particular slide. You can see h naught equal to theta greater than t naught, then h1 is theta less than theta naught, h naught is theta less than or equal to theta naught, h1 is theta greater than theta naught. In this case we apply here a one-sided test. If h naught is theta equal to theta naught against theta not equal to theta naught, we apply a two-sided test. Now in the next two slides I will exactly explain to you steps involved in testing of hypothesis. So in step 1 we try to formulate a hypothesis. For example, mu greater than or equal to mu naught versus mu less than mu naught, mu less than or equal to mu naught versus mu greater than mu naught, or mu equal to mu naught versus mu not equal to mu naught. Then we try to fix the value of alpha equal to 0.05 or alpha equal to 0.01. In step 3 we try to compute a statistic. Step 3, this statistic may be a z statistic or it may be a t statistic. Now select a sample of n units, compute sample mean x bar, then compute the following test statistic under the assumption that the null hypothesis is true. So you replace mu by mu naught while computing z. So what is the z? X bar minus mu divided by sigma by square root of n. N is a sample size, sigma is a standard deviation, mu is a population mean. While calculating z, we assume mu equal to mu naught as per the null hypothesis. So we compute z. Let this z be known as zc, that means z computed value. Please note here that sigma is known. Sigma is known and n is sufficiently large. Next, the step 4, determine the critical value. Now what are the critical value? How to compute a critical value? Critical value is given by mu naught minus z alpha into sigma x bar and mu naught plus z alpha sigma x bar. Now sigma x bar is nothing but sigma by square root of n. Z alpha is nothing but, try to find, z alpha can be obtained from a normal distribution table. For alpha equal to 0.05, z alpha by 2 is a minus 1.96 and plus z alpha 2 is a 1.96. So you try to find a critical value. Then that critical value will be C1 and C2. Then in the step 5, we accept the null hypothesis if x bar is greater than or equal to C. C may be C1 or a C2, otherwise reject H naught. Now for a C and for the step in the first step 1, the hypothesis, the null and alternate hypothesis, if it refers to C, accept H naught if C1 lies between, X bar lies between C1 and C2 is true, otherwise reject it. Now for the first two hypotheses, that is the one sided test, the value of a z is greater than or equal to value of a z alpha mod value or z alpha by 2, we may reject H naught, otherwise accept H naught. So these are the steps involved in it. Now go back to the previous slide. In step 3, I have defined z. Now what happens if sigma is not known? In that case, we replace sigma by standard deviation, and also what happens if n is sufficiently small? In that case, we will go back to, it is called t statistic, and we also this test is known as t test, and the critical value for a t statistic can be obtained from a t distribution tables. Now also I had given 2 slides, some examples I had given. I think this is self explanatory, you can just go through it. We can also test whether the differences between the two population means are 0 or not. This has been defined in this particular slide, where z statistics is given as x1 bar minus x2 bar minus mu1 minus mu2 naught divided by square root of sigma 1 square by n1 plus sigma 2 square by n2. All these parameters are simple. X1 bar referred to mean of the sample 1, x2 bar is x2 bar referred to mean of the sample 2, and sigma 1 and sigma 2 referred to standard deviations of the sample 1 and the sample 2. If n1 and n2, n1 plus n2 are sufficiently small, then we have to apply a t test with the degrees of freedom n1 plus n2 minus 2. If we do not know the distribution of the population, in such cases we may have to apply for a non-parametric test that is generally called chi-square test. Chi-square test referred chi-square test. Now these are discussed in this slide. You can go through the slides. Okay. And for all other tests such as tests of proportion, tests of variance, tests of correlation coefficients, tests of regression coefficients, median tests, etc. Readers, you may read the text associated with these slides. So in testing of hypothesis, if I conclude, the most important thing is in formulation of hypothesis, you have to clearly formulate what is null and alternate hypothesis are. For example, H naught equal to mu equal H naught is mu equal to mu naught. That is the alternate hypothesis. It may be mu1 minus mu2 equal to 0. This is in the case of comparing the two means of the two populations. It may be H naught equal to rho equal to 0, where rho is a correlation coefficient, or it may be beta equal to 0, where a beta is a regression coefficient. Then you formulate the alternate hypothesis, where mu is not equal to mu naught, or mu1 minus mu2 is not equal to mu naught, or mu1 is less than mu2, or mu1 is a greater than mu2, or a rho is not equal to rho naught. So next step, in this step you clearly formulate mu naught and H naught and H1. Second step is decide the values of alpha. Alpha may be 0.05 or alpha may be a 0.01. What is alpha? It is the level of significance. It is nothing but a probability of your committing a type 1 error when with regard to your null hypothesis. Decide alpha. Alpha may be again 0.05 or a 0.01. Now then you compute the test statistic. Test statistic may be Z or maybe T or maybe chi-square or maybe F in the case of analysis of variance, etc. For example, in a Z test, test statistic is given by Z equal to x bar minus mu divided by sigma by square root of n. That is a Z statistic. Now you compute the value of a Z under the assumption that the hypothesis, null hypothesis is true. If now based on your value of alpha, try to find the critical value from the tables. Now if your computed value of the test statistic is a greater than or equal to critical value, you may reject the null hypothesis or you may accept the null hypothesis. These are the simple steps involved in a testing of hypothesis. I have covered what is a hypothesis, what are the different types of hypothesis in statistical testing, then what are the errors involved in a testing of, what are the errors we commit in a testing of hypothesis, alpha or a beta, and this alpha is also often known as a significance level. Then I have defined what is a Z statistic, and it is also equivalent to a T statistic if n is sufficiently large and sigma is unknown, etc. Okay? Even in a sigma is unknown, it is a Z statistic provided n is sufficiently large. If n is a small, this is often referred to as a T statistic. Also I have explained in the text as well as in my PPTs how to test the differences between the two population means. Then I have talked about the chi-square test, goodness of a test, and the measures of association, etc. Thank you.